Okay, I'm gonna finish off my Treasure Island Dizzy playthrough. I'll just yeah. I just wanted to let me just check again. Yeah, it's doing it. Okay. It's definitely recall. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'll hold my last save from where I was yesterday. I mean, the last time I played, and my face, I think my face cam's definitely. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish where I left off. Finish where I left off 3 days ago. Yeah, yesterday, I mean, the last time I played, I was gonna try and load up the bucket on the other side of the water. Because I had the idea the last time I played. Can't seem to find a bucket right now though. Space allows me to jump as well as the okay. That'll come in handy to remember. I really can't remember where I left the bucket. This could pose. There it is. It's funny. I thought I remembered that bucket being blue, strangely enough. Guess I must be thinking of other Dizzy games, or maybe it's just my anxiousness distracting me. So, on we go to the other side of the water. I haven't played in a few days because I had a bit of a crisis of confidence. I didn't feel like I'd be able to say anything really entertaining or meaningful in the commentary, but then again I probably very seldom say anything entertaining or meaningful in the commentary anyway, so don't really know what I'm getting at here. But yeah, just the OCD was starting to get to me as well. I was starting to think about how it might have been wrong for me to play certain games with my OCD and all. I was thinking like because I'm a Christian and in one of the commandments in the Bible says that we should have no other gods before the God who created the world and the universe, and so when games and sci-fi TV shows and whatnot often seem to mention Greek gods, even sci-fi, even atheistic sci-fi shows such as Star Trek, will sometimes mention various Greek gods and whatnot, and that kind of seems suspicious to me, considering they're supposedly on the side of rationality and logic and whatnot. It almost seems to me like they sometimes think that if they can't convert Christians like me to the indecency of atheism, they start thinking that out of spite they want to maybe try to trick us into worshipping other gods before the Christian God who created the world. It was like it makes me wonder if they want to trick us into worshipping those different gods to try and stop us to get into heaven, from getting into heaven, to try and stop us Christians from getting into heaven, because people might say I'm being irrational thinking that way, but the bottom line is I feel like sometimes certain Star Trek episodes have been downright malevolent in the way that in the messages they've tried to preach in regards to the afterlife and whatnot, with how one episode of Star Trek Voyager in particular dealt with a character called Neelix in the show, an alien character, and his life, he was often despondent in life, thinking about the time he lost his sister, his beloved, there's a coin, he was often despondent in life, thinking about the time he lost his sister when this alien species, whose name I've forgotten, decimated one of the moons in orbit of his homeland, Talax. That particular moon was decimated by a weapon of mass destruction called the Metreon Cascade, and his sister was horribly killed in that attack. He knew because he was a member of the rescue crews who went to that moon after the tragic attack. And by the way, I'm looking behind everything, all the fences and whatnot here for coins, so forgive me if you're bored. And Neelix went up to that moon with the rescue crews, and I think he found his sister alive, but in a terrible state, with near enough all of her skin flayed from her body as a consequence of the heat and the shockwave, and she was in a terrible state, and she ended up dying not long after, and it traumatized Neelix, and he often thought of this sister of his, and he dreamed, and sometimes he seemed to dream of when he died. He had thoughts in his head about when he died, going to the afterlife and being reunited with this sister. Well, because of how she was so treasured to him and whatnot. I think she was a younger sister whom he always kind of treasured and looked after, I don't know. And so anyway, this episode of Star Trek Voyager that I'm thinking of, I think Neelix had some kind of a near-death experience, some kind of a big accident or something that brought him into a near-death experience, like out of unconsciousness or in a coma or whatever, but having these kind of subconscious dreams while he was in this state. And the dream that he had was about meeting this sister of his, thinking he was in the afterlife temporarily, but the vision that he had of her ended up being quite bad, quite traumatic, because the version he saw of her wasn't a restored, beautiful version of his healthy version of his sister. Instead, it was a version of his sister that had the skin flayed from her body, all mutilated and torn off, like what he saw when he went to that moon, and she berated him, kind of mocked him for believing that there was an afterlife in the end, telling him that there was actually nothing in the afterlife, that there was actually no afterlife. And to me, the thing that makes that kind of thing so evil and so malevolent of Star Trek writers is the way how they try to strike fear in the hearts of theists who really want there to be an afterlife, so that they can experience, so that they can be reunited with all those that they've loved and cared for in life when they die. And to me, by attempting to strike fear and heart can't think of the word. Fear and trauma. Yeah, by trying to strike fear in the hearts and trauma. There's the last coin, by the way. By trying to strike fear and trauma in the hearts of believers like me. Well, I just think that's very evil and immoral of Star Trek writers, to tell the truth. I know not every episode's like that, but then again, there was never really any episodes which praised monotheistic religions like Christianity was there. So that's another reason why I feel like overall it was such an evil TV series. Can't remember if there's anything else I wanted to say about it, but yeah. And even though I consider it highly evil of Star Trek writers to do that kind of thing, in a way, it reassures me, because it tells me they're not rational and logical. Because, really, what do they have to gain from trying to scare theistic fans of theistic viewers of the show? Yeah, what do they have to gain from trying to scare theistic viewers of the show like that? In a way, it's like, to me, they want to, in a way, it's like they're kind of possessed are controlled by evil forces, and they want to try and drive a wedge between Christians and God, because they're compelled by the evil that controls them to want to try and stop Christians from getting into heaven by trying to dilute our belief in God and Jesus, so to speak. Well, that's just my 2 cents anyway, since we're coming to the end of the game and whatnot now. So, not sure what else I'm gonna say really. 30 gold coins, impressive. I suppose you'd like to continue now. Well, I'm sorry you can't. You see, this is the edge of this fantasy world. See, there's a plug for the 3rd Dizzy game, Fantasy World Dizzy. This is the edge of this fantasy world. You've seen and done everything. Farewell till we meet again. Farewell, dear friend. Hey, we get some celebratory music. Anyway, that's Treasure Island Dizzy, everyone. A game that I could never complete as a child, and was only a game that I was only able to complete without any guides or step-by-step walkthroughs a few years ago, and even then I think I had clues from maybe things people have said over the years, or things I've happened to see on forums over at times, but I never actually resorted to actually seeking out a comprehensive step-by-step walkthrough from start to finish. And so, as you can probably tell from what you've seen in this playthrough, I didn't know what to do precisely from start to finish, and that's why there was a lot of umming and ahhing and walking around indecisively with me not being sure what to do sometimes. And so I'm not sure how I rate this Dizzy game compared to all the others. When I was young, I always appreciated the novelty of the Treasure Island setting. I always liked the nice yellow sands and the palm trees and whatnot. Yeah, it was a nice new location, but one thing that made the game so hard, especially the Amstrad game, was that glitch I told you about in one of the Amstrad version. Was that glitch I told you about in the previous part, where sometimes when you were scrolling through the options, through the items list at the top, sometimes it would scroll down twice when you press the action key rather than just once, and that would cause you to die sometimes if you were, say, underwater, where you'd have to keep hold of the rubber snorkel to survive. And I don't really do ratings, considering the fact that I tend to feel bad about giving low ratings, but at the same time it feels corny giving maximum ratings. But yes, I definitely enjoy this game, and it's definitely worth a play, just like near enough all the other Dizzy games are. So, without further ado, I'll see you all next time I play a game in a YouTube playthrough near you. So goodbye everyone.